and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a special BOGO offer from Bosch. Buy a select Bosch 18-volt bare tool. Get a battery free. Shop savings on all of our top pro items. Plus, MVPs earn up to 3 times bonus points on select products. Join today and redeem points for products designed to level up your business. Don't miss MVP's bonus days, happening now at Lowe's. Pricing and offers subject to change at any time. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 9/23.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a fresh edition of the Metro Tech Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. I am not Michael McDaniel. I am Maurice Prince, and I'll be your host for this upcoming hour. And let me tell you, football is truly come full circle. The NFL kicked off this weekend, but we've got local high school and middle school football on the show tonight, so I'm going to feel right at home tonight, and I'm looking forward to bringing all that talk to you this evening. I want to thank our sponsor, Kai's Concepts. Remember, with each Kai's Bar purchase, you are helping feed, support, and transform lives of those in need throughout the world. Primarily, your purchase impacts a community of 1,000 children in Haiti and helps serve the poor, hungry, and the youth in Oklahoma City area. Also, we want to thank Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, the Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundations, Dick's Sporting Goods, Impressions Printing, Big O's Pork and Dreams are our sponsors this evening. We are downtown Oklahoma City at the Dodgers Stadium, which happens to be the Oklahoma City Chickasaw Ballpark, Bricktown Ballpark. I'm Maurice Prince, and let's bring in our guests starting off here. We're going to talk some football. I got Bulls in the house. BELLE Bulls are in the house. Middle school football. I have with me right now head coach Brandon Bennett, student athletes AMONTE Montague, he's an 8th grader right here, and of course, let me see here, Hezekiah Mitchell, the starting quarterback. Guys, how's everybody doing this evening?
Good. Doing good.
Coach, what is the record of your team right now, and how you feeling about football being back?
Yeah, we are a little more than 2 weeks in games-wise, so we're 1-1. You know, this is the first year ever for BELLE football, so I feel like we've had a good start. We've got a lot of room to improve, but we've also seen a lot of good too. So it's been fun and excited to keep going.
Guys, I'll come to you, Hezekiah, first. How did it feel that first game to walk out on the field and get some action out there?
It felt really good. Loved it. It feels really good to be back on the field and just play.
All right. How about you, AMONTE?
Feels really exciting.
You know, now we got a quarterback and a running back, so there has to be a special bond between both of you guys here. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when the play is called and you got to get it into AMONTE's hand, what are you thinking about, Hezekiah?
Just telling him what to play and trusting him to carry the play out and do what he does best and run the ball.
All right, AMONTE. So, again, when the ball is handed off to you, what are you thinking at that exact moment when it's time to get things going?
Looking what holes are open, where the gaps are, where the blockings are.
So, training for the positions, Coach, when you started opening up the season in training camp, talk to me a little bit about what did you do to get these guys ready to play?
You know, we just played a lot of football, honestly, at the beginning. We had a lot of guys out there that have never played football before, so it was a lot of learning on the fly, a lot of teaching, and you know, just continuing to work to kind of get the guys to get comfortable and play faster and just have fun with it out there.
So if I had to ask you a philosophy, what would your philosophy be?
Honestly, I think I'd probably have to say my philosophy doesn't have a whole lot to do with football. It's more about culture and creating a culture and a group of young leaders that are going to be you know, representing this community in the future. And, you know, it's not just our football team. That's what BELLE is about also. And so, you teaching accountability and trusting each other and respect and being leaders inside and outside the classroom is what our team is working on.
Amonte, when the first practice took place, what was going on in your mind when the coach comes in? What was the first things that came to you when you got ready to play?
I was just wondering the positions and what plays are we going to be running.
That's fine. So talk to me a little bit about that. Did you automatically come in? You have to be an extension of the coach on the field, because the coach is calling the plays. He's expecting you to know and help those things. How did you, back, or is that something that just came naturally to you?
Just something that came naturally. I was hoping to be a running back at the start of the season, but then I got put at the quarterback position and just started loving playing and learning how to read defenses and how to carry out our plays.
So did that automatically come in practice, or was it after the first game that you kind of knew, hey, this I can do this?
It came into practice close to the first game, and then first game really hit home that I could probably really do this.
Coach, when you started finding out the personalities of your players, how did you go through the vetting process in terms of figuring out, what you wanted to do and how you wanted to line guys up? Because right now it's about opportunity, as you just said, in developing leaders. So it wasn't so much as you're a running back, you're a quarterback, you're a wide receiver, and all those things. How did you kind of come to that process?
Sure. Myself and my assistant coach, Justin Palatini, just kind of talked about it before we really got started, and we're thinking, we just need to see these guys play some football. So we just did a lot of scrimmaging, a lot of 7-on-7, just let the guys compete against one another, see who can handle the ball, who can, use their feet well, who can, has good eyes when they're playing defense, that little stuff that it's hard to see when you're not playing the game.
So let me just ask you, what would be your definition of winning then?
I think for us this year, the definition of winning is when we get done at the end of the season, having positive associations with the game of football is really the key. We're in the process of teaching, these young men the game, and hopefully they enjoy it enough and they find a passion in it and they can carry it with them as they move forward.
Amonte, when you have been on the field, what kind of responsibilities, because you don't always get the ball. Of course, every running back says, if you pattern Ezekiel Elliott, it says feed me. But what kind of role do you see yourself in the offense in terms of, do you block or do you look for that? Are you understanding that you have to do other things when your number's not called?
Making sure I'm doing my job so we can get the most amount of yards and maybe even a touchdown on the play.
All right. Hezekiah, when we're lining up and the play is getting ready to snap, how are you addressing everybody to try to make sure that everybody's lined up the way they need to be?
Just telling them what their splits are, telling them telling my center to tell them to get down so we can get on and run this play.
That's just like a quarterback, y'all. He says, hurry up, let's snap this ball. So since you said you thought you were going to be a running back, so now you had to change your focus just a little bit. Who are you kind of saying, okay, I need to watch a little bit more of to try to develop and continue to progress a little bit?
Just these like Lamar Jackson and just really any quarterback, learning how to get out the pocket and throw if I have to, or get up and run the ball when I need to.
Amonte, who are you kind of looking that same question your way? Who are you? I mean, is it Saquon? Is it Ezekiel? Is it Derrick Henry? What are we looking like here?
There's a lot, but just being powerful with the ball, making sure nobody gets to strip it away from me, taking it to the.
Have they put you in drills for that, for the strip drills, so make sure that you don't hold it like a loaf of bread out here or anything like that? Are they doing that to you?
No, they shouldn't have to though, cause.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So in other words, good luck with getting that there. So in the early two games that you guys have played, what did you like, or what did you feel went well in the game that you won? And then I'll ask you, what did you feel didn't go well in the game that you lost? Start with you, Amonte.
We executed on our blocking more, open field tackles.
Hezekiah?
Running our plays well, being in sync with each other, and just really building more of a bond after that first game and knowing what people need to do, and we executed on that and won the game.
So obviously the first game we kind of learned some lessons, and game number 2 we kind of executed better, and it turned out a better result. Coach, as any football coach will say, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. What was your take on how the team responded to the adversity early on? And it's not all; they're going to see some more. But how did you think they responded to that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a great group of kids. They're resilient, they're tough-minded, and it was pretty disappointing, I think, opening up the program with a tough loss against a really good team in Taft Middle School. But we had a couple of really good practices after that. You wouldn't know by looking at the guys and their attitudes on the field. Everybody was still positive, everybody's still cutting up, same way that they were, but we were still working hard also. And there was definitely a sense of urgency you could see with the kids, lining up against Capitol Hill that next week. They looked ready to take it to them and fix some of the stuff that we did wrong in the first week.
And that has to be encouraging to you as a coach, that the players are buying in a little bit more, and they'll see it as it goes along. But as a coach, what were you really looking for in terms of how they responded? In terms of, usually there's a couple of things we look for. You said attitude, how they responded. Was there anything else that caught your attention in that?
Yeah, it's just having a growth mindset. Like we fixed, like AMONTE was saying, we fixed our missed tackling issue. We held onto the ball much better in that second game. So when you get down to the minute details, we were doing a much better job on the little things, and it showed in the overall result, I think.
Hezekiah, as a quarterback, you always feel a little bit more pressure. How have you been able to deal with that? Because everybody looks to you when it doesn't work. They look to you when it works really well. They look to you. How are you dealing with handling those responsibilities?
I think I'm taking it really well, but I really want to take more accountability for these plays that go wrong, and me not calling the right plays when I need to.
Amonte, when you hear Hezekiah say that, does it, in the huddle or even when you guys are at the line, how do you think that translates, or does everybody else see that he's trying, and everybody else, how does that affect the rest of the team?
Yeah, I think, we all see that he's trying. He's making sure we're all getting in the huddle, hearing the play.
So for you, when things were going right in the second game, tell me your favorite moment in the game. I mean, did we have a touchdown? Did we have a big play? Did we get some open field? Did you make somebody miss? What was that big moment for you?
One or two times I got some good yards, 60, 70 yards.
Oh, just some good yards. Okay, that's nice. Okay, now, let me know when you get to the grade. Okay, I just want to know. Hezekiah, what about you? What was that moment that you like? Oh yeah, I like that. Tell me about that moment.
When I just when we executed our plays, when I handed the ball off to Amonte and he ran and got really good yards on these plays, I was really happy about that.
Yeah, quarterbacks are so much like a coach. So to me, have you had that big pass play yet, or that play where the defender came up on you and you said you had to improvise a little bit? Have you had that moment happen yet?
Not really, but also a little bit.
Okay, so it's a little bit of both. So you're saying your offensive line has done a good job so far?
Yes.
He's like, yeah, okay, I like my offensive line. I take it if you got 60, 70 yards, the offensive linemen are your best friends. That's the way it's supposed to be. Next time when we have this interview, I'll ask you guys, do you guys still like your offensive linemen? What are you most looking forward to in this game this week, Amonte?
Executing like we did the second game, making small corrections.
And if you had to make a correction off the last game that you won, what would it be?
Staying like on the outside instead of coming back to the inside where everyone is.
Okay, so in other words, stay in the gap and stay to the outside. I got you. Hezekiah, same thing for you. What are you most looking forward to in the game this week?
Um, yeah, really just the same thing as Amonte said, executing our plays, making these small and minor corrections to make these big plays happen.
Coach, these guys are fantastic. You know, when you have and I imagine that when you get the rest of the team together, that there's just this infectious energy.
Yes, sir.
What do you think that, what do you expect to see from your team this week in their matchup? And who are we playing?
We got Western Heights this week. They're going to be a tough matchup. And, you know, from the guys, really just more of the same. We've had good attitudes. We pick each other up, help each other out, just stay positive, and, you know, just keep working together.
Guys, what's been the attitude at the school? It's the first year with a football program. You guys are, you know, opening up a new door, you know. So how does it feel walking around the hallway with the jerseys on, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, we got a football team, you know, and them asking questions. What's some of the things you guys have heard?
What time do y'all play? When do y'all play?
Hezekiah.
Yeah, the same thing.
Well,
Basically, just what time we play, where we're playing, and who we're playing.
okay, all right. So, guys, if there's anyone that you wanted to thank, Hezekiah, you know, and I'm going to say to both of you, you know, the guy sitting next to you, you might want to thank him a little. But is there anybody else you guys would like to thank?
Both of my coaches and my parents.
All right.
Coaches, parents. I'm glad that my mom let me play football.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. You know, when we start talking about things, fundamentals are so important at this age, Coach. You know, I know we spend time on play development and things like that, but how much reinforcement is needed at this younger level on that? Because there's so many outside sources of folks wanting to play these games. How do you, you know, counter that with teaching them proper technique?
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think doing technique and individual drills like that is probably at this level more important than doing team-based stuff. You know, working on tackling drills, doing routes on air, working on, you know, hand positioning and defensively, you know, pursuit drills and where your eyes and stuff like that. All those little things will help build them up as they continue to grow.
When we start talking about, you know, fundamentals and getting to those things, guys, do you feel like understand the importance of having the right fundamentals to make you guys better athletes? Do you guys understand that, or how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's important with your footwork, eye-hand coordination.
Yeah, absolutely, because if you don't, you can't get those, what do you call those, good gains, 60, 70 yards? But, you know, Hezekiah, how do you feel about understanding, because there's a process. As a quarterback, you got to come in, you got to work on snap, footwork, constantly looking and where you're checking for. So talk to me a little bit about that.
I think it's really, really crucial that we take these times, like, for doing these drills really seriously in our technique so people don't get hurt.
That's great points. Great point. Reading defenses, you know, because we think you can just do it really easily. What was the most challenging part about starting to understand, and what defenses have you been able to see so far quite clearly?
Really just how these linebackers are lining up and how this line is lining up, seeing if they're overloading one side or blitzing or trying to do anything that could stop the play from getting the yards we want.
That's great. That's great. When it comes to teaching how to read defenses, what's the most important thing in terms of that, Coach, in terms of that?
Sure, it's just about communication. I think, you know, using your eyes and not being afraid to say something, and, you know, just recognizing looks and then having a good memory and just working from there.
Coach, before we run out of time for this, I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about, this is your first year starting this program, but I understand that you're from a little place down under, down in Texas, little state called Texas. Talk a little bit about your journey to get here and joining Oklahoma City Public Schools.
Sure. This is my 7th year teaching. Like you said, my first year doing the football program at Belle Isle. It's my 2nd year at Belle Isle. Before that, I came from Amarillo, Texas, just down I-40. Spent a couple years there working under Coach Chad Dunham, and then up in Dumas, Texas, with Coach Aaron Dunham, and then for a couple years down in the Dallas area, working under Paul Ressa in Carrollton Farmers Branch.
How do you feel those things have gotten you ready to deal with young men and getting them ready to play football?
Absolutely. It's you know, every single one of those experiences was very different. So I feel like it gave me kind of a taste of a lot of different kind of looks and ways of doing stuff. And I'm just trying to, you know, do things the best way that I can possibly do them with this program here. And, you know, I'm sure next year we'll make a lot of changes on, you know, seeing things that we did right and stuff that we did wrong. And that's the hope, is that we just keep growing this program.
So when's the next game? Obviously against Western Heights. And where can people see this game? How can they support, you know, Belle Isle Bull football?
Sure. Our next game is against Western Heights at Western Heights High School's field. It's at 6 o'clock, and we'll be wearing our whites. So come out and root for us.
Okay. What color jersey do you look better in, Amonte?
Dressing up, probably white, but on the field, I like the blue jerseys.
Hezekiah, how you feel about the jersey or the look?
Yeah, what Amonte said, dressing up white and then blue.
Okay, you guys are clean. I like your style. You know, ladies and gentlemen, this is watching young men develop into something special. It begins at a young age, and these guys are examples of what excellence is about. You're looking for development in football, you have to have the right coaching. You have to have the right environment. And Oklahoma City Public Schools is providing that. It's time for us to hit a break. This is the Metro Tech Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. And when we come back, more football goes. But before I jump out of here real quick, it's Seattle and Denver tonight. What you got? What you got? I got to. He's like, it doesn't matter. What you got?
Really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He says it's Western Heights. That's what we're focused on. All right, we'll be right back after this on CBS Sports Radio 105.3 HD1.
Injuries don't wait. For business hours, now you can be seen 24/7 for sports injuries. Whether you have a sprain or a broken bone, at the SSM Health Bone and Joint Injury Clinic at 13401 Northwestern.
Oklahoma City, I'm Miles Perry, and I want you to tune in to my show, Super Prep Live.
Super Prep Live takes an in-depth look at the Oklahoma high school student-athlete and what makes he or she become great at what they do. Super Prep Live can be heard on OKC's CBS Sports Radio 105.3 and Instagram Live.
Make sure you tune in and learn about the next great student-athlete on Super Prep Live with me, Miles Perry.
Don't come over here being shy. We're going to have some fun. I mean, make sure you should have used to. Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So make sure everybody good.
Oh, there we go.
No, I just turned it off so that way we have a rule called no hot mics.
Gotcha.
3 minutes away.
Oklahoma City, I'm Miles Perry, and I want you to tune into my show, Super Prep Live.
Super Prep Live takes an in-depth look at the Oklahoma high school student athlete and what makes he or she become great at what they do. Super Prep Live can be heard on OKC's CBS Sports Radio 105.3 and Instagram Live.
Make sure you tune in and learn about the next great student athlete on Super Prep Live with me, Miles Perry.
Injuries don't wait. For business hours, now you can be seen 24/7 for sports injuries. Whether you have a sprain or a broken bone, at the SSM Health Bone and Joint Injury Clinic at 13401 Northwestern.
Welcome back to the Metro Tech Oklahoma City Public Schools Coaches Show. I am Maurice Prince. Once again, I will tell the world I am not Michael McDaniel. He has longer toes than I do. I'm just going to leave it just like that. But we're on the world of talking about football, and now we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to talk high school football with a man I respect very highly, Mr. Derek Adams, of the head coach of the Douglas Trojan, and he's brought with him sophomore running back Tobias Brady. Good evening to you, gentlemen. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for inviting us.
Coach Adams, I just firmly needs to say this because it doesn't get said enough. You are the right man to restore the Trojans to where they need to be. Your heart and your dedication to building this program is relentless, and I don't think it gets said enough because of what you've had to use to build with before Oklahoma City Public Schools stepped in and made some changes to restore Douglas to what it is. So I just feel like publicly that needs to be said first and foremost.
Thank you very much.
Now, Coach, you know, this year we're off to a 1-1 start so far.
Correct.
And I will say this, I don't think we got video of it, but most folks after the Power Bowl, I had never seen Coach Adams sprint off the field as fast as I did, Tobias. Was he vying for your position after the Power Bowl when he ran it? What caused him to run, Tobias? Will you tell us? Tell everybody.
Him just being happy we won, I guess.
Why did he break out? I mean, everybody started chasing him. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if somebody said there was free money in the locker room. What made him do that? I mean, was it something that you guys had challenged him to do? Because I didn't know he had that kind of speed.
I didn't either. I'll tell you what happened. I started doing deductive reasoning. I said, wait a minute. I won my first game. I beat Star Spencer. I started adding up. This doesn't equal an ice bath. I'm running. So I was like, no, this doesn't add up. And I took off running, and they got me anyway. So it was just an all in good fun.
So there are always ebbs and flows in every season, Coach. So, you know, the first half of the Star Spencer game, I just want to say it was a tight-knit game. It was a tough game, and then things started to change in the second half. What things went right in the Power Bowl?
Well, we just, we started playing defense. We got to running the ball a little bit better. And as I said before in the post-game interview, man, Star Spencer, they would not give up. They're relentless. I've already told Coach Robinson, the athletic director over there, good God, you guys just keep coming at us. And I just nothing but respect. At the end of the game, we respected them. So it was not it didn't get better for us. We had to really grit. That was a grinded out.
Oh, it definitely was.
After them Bobcats, they took us to the bridge.
What do you remember about the matchup, Tobias, in terms of that first game? What did you remember about that one?
Yeah, they definitely played hard. I don't know.
What was in terms of on the field? You're running back. You guys are in a tight-knit game. What was the energy like in the huddle? Are you guys getting to the line of scrimmage? What was that like out there?
We had energy. We had the confidence we can beat them. We just go out there and do our job.
Do your job, and I'm sure the coaches encourage that. So right now, you guys are still going through growing and learning to play better as a team each and every week. So tell me, during those moments where the game was waning and you guys needed to score, Star Spencer scored, and then you guys needed to answer. Talk to me about the drive that you guys did score on that put you guys up, that was up, that got you, where you could breathe and say, okay, we might have this. What was that drive like?
Our quarterback, Gary Franklin, he got us right. He told us we can do this. We can score one more time and be good.
Running the football can be a very great thing. We were talking to the young guys a little bit, but it also can be a frustrating thing when you got guys killed, getting you can't get out of Franklin hands you the ball and there's a defensive guy right on you. So talk to me a little bit about what you have to have a mentality of that doesn't matter, that you don't have to always score a touchdown on every drive. Talk about that, because the young folks need to understand not every player your object is to take it to the house. Sometimes it's just to get 3 yards. Sometimes it's just to get 2 yards. Talk to me a little bit about that.
You gotta have that dog mentality. You just gotta use your strength. Even if somebody's in front of you, they knock you down, get back up.
Well, it's hard because it can be very frustrating, because again, that's like asking somebody to go run against a car sometime. Will you do it? Where does the drive come from you? Where did that hunger come from to constantly be able to do that regardless of how many times? Because I'll be honest with you, my wife, when we start talking about football, she goes, why do we run up the middle? Because there's all the guys there. When the coach calls those plays, she goes like, you should run to the outside. What is your mentality when they say run the A gap, right there in the center guard gap? What is your mentality when you have to do those things constantly 4 or 5 times a game?
Just keep doing it. Again, you get hit, you got to get back up. You just got to be mentally stable and stuff.
So in other words, you knew this going into that. Coach, when you hear him describe what it is, because they don't understand that sometimes other players young players who are inexperienced don't understand, is you have to set things up.
Absolutely.
So what do you hear, what Mr. Brady right here is saying about it? What does that, how does that play in your mind?
Well, that's why I have him here. That's why I have a sophomore here on the TV show and the radio show, because he's got that dog mentality. First things first, he does it in the classroom with making A's and B's. That's our number one priority at Douglas, no matter what. We want people to cross the stage and go off to have great lives. But what he's talking about, we have to set it up. And I remember in the fourth quarter, I called 23 zone. We're trying to go to the weak side. And I remember, he got a little gas, but this kid here, he somehow went to his utility belt, hit a button, just whoop.
Okay.
I said, all right, buddy, I need you, let's finish the game off. And the kid did. And he understands sometimes we run a play, you're only going to get 2 yards, but the next time we come back to it, we're going to set them up. They're going to think something else is happening, and boom, he breaks a 40-yard run.
And that's the excitement about it. When you're still coaching a team that is still learning to win is it has highs and lows. So how are you guys responding? Challenges took place during Soul Bowl. You guys weren't able to have the game that you wanted to have. So talk to me a little bit about what went into preparation for that game, and then trying to teach the team to move on and get to the next game that you guys got this Friday.
Well, absolutely. Our motto this year is we're coming, and everybody asks me close to me, I tell them we're young and fun, and we know we got a lot of underclassmen starting, And that's the one thing. I mean, sometimes in something that didn't go the way you wanted it, we got that experience. The kids got to see the Soul Bowl. They got to see Miller Stadium sold out.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
got to understand
yes.
that was the first time that thing's been sold out in a while. They got to see it, you know. And I was very happy that Tobias got to run the ball in it, even though we didn't get the results we wanted. And it was a good time for us at halftime just telling the young guys, hey, guys, this is what it is. The lights are on. Your eyes are big as a deer. And in the second half, we only gave up 7 points. And that's something that we build off today. That's why we're a little late getting here to the interview today. We're at practice getting back to the drawing board.
I think that's great, but I just want to talk about that for what you just said. There is a whole – I mean, were you guys surprised as a team, Tobias, on how much the community is pulling for Douglas to return to the level and see you guys be successful on the field? Did you guys feel that? I mean, because I've been there at Moses F. Miller when it's rocking, man. And I just want to know, was that the first time that you had seen it like that? And kind of what was the team's reaction to that?
It's not my first time seeing it last year. We had it on homecoming, so I'm kind of used to it. The freshmen, the young classmen, they're not used to it, so I tried to tell them, like, hey, this is going to be a big game. You just got to play a game.
Now, Coach, for me, there are always games that mean more. We look at it as a coach as a game to game. Can't make it more. It's one game. So you have to. But Soul Bowl, you know, is so it's such so much of a community. I mean, the game between you and Millwood, two historical programs with so much history in Oklahoma City. I mean, I don't really think everybody really understands why the game is moved to Saturday, because Friday night there was people wouldn't go to any other game, and that's why the game got moved to Saturday. But talk to me a little bit about just that game itself and what it means to you, because it's lineage Douglas.
It's very near and dear to me. Even though this is my third year here in Oklahoma City, I knew about the Soul Bowl back home in Dallas. It's you know, there's a lot of Oklahomians living in the Dallas-Fort area. You know, in Dallas we have the Oak Cliff Super Bowl, the South Dallas Super Bowl. As they go nuts for the Dallas-Madison Trojans, I heard very much a lot about the Frederick A. Douglass Trojans. And so I knew all about the Soul Bowl before I got here. I knew it was going to be a big game. And I remember when I took the job, Coach Franklin called me and said, hey, buddy, you don't know me, but you're going to know me very well. And we laughed and we joked about it. But I know the Soul Bowl was very important. We had the Soul Bowl breakfast. I want to say thank you to the Church of Christ that came out and donated it for us. The support from the community is amazing.
I also think it's very fitting at this time that we recognize the fallen Trojan whose name is on the field, Stanford White. I think that for folks who don't know, you know, Stanford Whitefield, he is a legacy builder of what the Trojans are. In fact, they always said it's the house that Stanford built. There's been a lot of great coaches that have come through there that have been that. It was very sad to hear that he passed away last week, so we want to send our condolences to his family and the legacy of Trojans everywhere who he impacted. It was just so many around here. But in itself, I always look at football, back to the game for just a moment, in two different levels. The first half didn't go your way, but in the second half of the game, the Trojans played differently. There was a lot more calm. There was a lot more. And to me, it was getting ready to turn the page to getting ready to the game that you guys have this Friday against the Oklahoma City Patriots. So talk to me about what they heard from you at halftime that allowed them to play more free and at a looser level, at a high level. When I say loose, I'm saying the tension wasn't there. The nerves weren't there as much anymore.
Well, long story short, you know, of course you get in halftime. You know, sometimes you have that look on your face, and we have to tell the boys, wake up. And we have to tell them, I say, even though the score is not what you want, we're not going to quit. We're going to keep going. As I pull the guys group by group, Tobias is with me. We made some adjustments to the blocking schemes. I told them, this is where we get ready for the rest part of the year. We got to come out here and finish this thing with pride. And I was happy we were able to move the ball a little bit in the second half. I mean, like I said, hats off to Coach Franklin and Millwood. They do a great job. Everybody's jocking somebody, you know. And I know for Coach Franklin, those Falcons, those birds were flying. And I always tell them, you know, me and Franklin talk quite a bit. I always tell him, man, I respect what you do, but I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I understand.
That's bottom line. He said, Coach Adams, I wouldn't have it no other way.
Exactly.
And that's what respect that me and Coach Franklin have. And, you know, at halftime we just told him we got to get better. And we got to calm down now that your nerves are settled. It's a shame that we couldn't sell them in the second quarter, but here we are in the third quarter. Let's start putting some things together. Let's get this 1 yard to 3 yards, 3 yards to 5 yards.
Tobias, you're hearing the coach, and I see it in your eye. I mean, in other words, he motivates you quite well. So what was the mentality of the team when they stepped back on the field? Because if you didn't think you could play, you showed that you could in the second half of the Soul Bowl. What changed at halftime that you recognized from the younger players that definitely is going to help you guys going forward?
Man, this isn't like.
It's all right. I mean, it's one of those type of things. This football is emotional. So some of the things that I ask you, I'm gonna put you in the spot. But the whole object here is you have to see the dog is what you're looking for. So in other words, I mean, you looking at your fellow player. Do you have that same dog that I have? And if I can get 3 players to have the dog when it was only 2 in the first half, and I got 4 or 5 with it now, we can do some things. And I just was interested to know because the players played differently. You are able to move the ball a little bit more. The confidence started to come in, and where you thought you couldn't, you discovered that you could. So I was just seeing if you could see that in the players' eyes out there with you.
Yeah, I definitely could. The upperclassmen got all of us right. They was like, some of them, this is my last year, this is my last Soul Bowl. I plan not to lose, and it just changed everybody else.
The emotion that can be attached to that. So, Coach, we Soul Bowl over. We turned the page, and we're focused on the game this Friday. So I know you from talking to you as many times as I had, that when the hit 0, it was already to the next game, win or loss.
Absolutely.
So we went on the next game. So what was the first practice this week really about? What was the one thing that you wanted them to get back on getting ready for the game this Friday?
Well, you know, first thing we did today, we got out of school, we went to film session, and we have a do better. We had a do better film session. We have our little clips from the game, and we were just trying to challenge our guys to do better. We had to show them where we made our mistakes, and we took about a good 20 minutes just showing the game, the Soul Bowl game. We hit the highlights and some of the lowlights, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I call it. And then we start showing a little bit about the Oklahoma City Patriots, and we start giving them a scouting report. So today was a little longer today because we had to hammer out some things, some mistakes we made on the field, and we had to make corrections in the film room. We made corrections on the field, and then we start putting our game plan for Oklahoma City Patriots.
Tobias, when you saw the new game plan this week, you know, what is the responsibility of the running backs in that when you get your game plan? What's the first thing that you need to do as a collective group of running backs to get ready when you get your game plan?
Take as many reps in practice, and, you know, because you never know when you got to go in. Learn how to hit the holes right. If both sides closed off, go up as strong as you can.
All right. Coach, once we install the game plan for each position or each unit, what is your expectations for them, for you to know whether we're getting all the boxes checked?
Well, it was like today, you know, I spent a little time with the skills, and I mostly spent my time with the box players. And I was just showing, you know, we always got to tell them we have do-betters. Do-betters, and I got you coaches. I got you coach means I'm going to do my job. And we have a thing at Douglas called the dime. And that's something I've been preaching since I got here. It's discipline, investment, mental toughness, and execution. You got to have discipline on Mondays. Monday's the hardest day. So Monday's practice, we ran out the practice. It went a little long. Tuesday, we have to be invested. Wednesday is mental toughness. Can you withstand it? I remember last Wednesday we did a drill to try to make the defense jump off sides, trying to, you know, test their mental toughness. And last and not least is execution. I don't want to hear about extra effort. I want to know, did you do your job? That's what it all boils down to. When these young men become men, your wife's not going to know about that you went to work and you gave great effort. She want to know, did you get the paycheck? That's what it boils down to. Did you execute? When we're in the classroom, did you get the good grade? So that's what we look for. So we have those 4 phases to get to Friday, and today was definitely discipline.
Yeah, 111, because if each man does what he says
That's
of
it.
the dime, everything will fall into
That's
place.
it.
Coach, in the development of the, you know, you evaluate your seasons when I talked to you last year at the end. We don't look at that in the middle of. But what was the coming into the 2022 campaign, what was the mentality from the group that came in last year that you wanted to carry over into this season?
Just more togetherness. That's something that we had a little bit of adversity last year, but we tried to stay together, and we did. And I got a little young group of athletes, and we knew that's something we want to keep together. We want to keep our sophomores. Well, he's a sophomore now. We have a group of sophomores that are young. They're getting this game experience. We knew this year we're going to be young and fun, and we want these guys to get exposure. And I started taking some of this exposure and turning into wins. So we knew what we had. We graduated quite a few seniors last year. We knew.
So if you had to give me the makeup about how many seniors, how many juniors, and underclassmen would you say in terms of the ratio is, I mean, obviously young and fun indicates that you have more underclassmen than upperclassmen. But in terms of is it a lot of seniors still, or how many would you say the ratio is?
We're at 6 seniors, 6 to 7 seniors. So, our starting quarterback's a senior. We have 2 senior offensive linemen. That's it. In defense, we have a senior defensive line, and we got 1 in safety. That's it. We knew this year was going to be a year of rebuilding. We knew it was going to be a year of excitement, and we knew that we had a great offseason. We've acquired a great staff. We've got the best supportment in the Oklahoma City athletic department. My principal, Kevin Jones, has given me everything I can ask for, and we knew we were going to put something together.
Now, interesting enough, the schedule, I don't know who makes the schedule up, but the first 3 games for you guys have been at home.
Absolutely.
So, Tobias, after this week, the season takes its next major turn when we start going into road competition. What's the most important thing, you would say about a road game versus a home game?
A road game, you just got to lock in. Yeah. Whenever you get there, do your job. I plan on being 9-1 because, I already lost to Millwood.
So that's what
That's what I'm telling you. I love that kid's mentality.
So, Coach, exactly. He says you have to lock in more. So, again, you take it one game at a time, and so I'm not going to ask you about next week. But the difference between the two is pretty profound.
I said this. I knew I was going to have a young team this year, and that's why this offseason I made it my business to make sure that we travel. We went to Enid up there with Coach Woods, did a little 7-on-7, did a lineman camp. We go to Harrah almost every other weekend. Our scrimmage this year, we went down to Duncan. I want the kids to get used to the road. Our road games this year are going to be extremely long. I needed those guys to hurry up, and, we went to Duncan 3 weeks ago. We went on a Thursday. I want them to feel that road trip. I want them to get used to, you're on the road, let's get used to this. So I want to make sure, I want to expose my team as early as possible. This is what it's going to be.
Now, playing in a supportive environment as you obviously have at home, because I can tell you now from Coach Mack to several other alumni will come forward and say, hey, look, are we ready for Friday night? What excites you? Would you rather play at home, Tobias, or would you rather face the road game?
I like them both, honestly.
He says it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just tell me what time the game started, and I'm there. I cannot be mad at you about that, Coach. If you had 10 more Tobiases, I think you would.
I'll come in here wearing all white. I have a white. I look like P Diddy. I have the hat on to the side. Talking about take that. It'd be like that. But you know what? You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. You thank God for the ones that like this young man, and you sit there and you support the ones that are trying to get there. So that's what I believe in.
So I'm going to take a moments here. Tobias, tell me a little bit about the folks who have influenced you and who you would like to thank for what you are right now and what you're working to be, because you got several more years of this to do.
Definitely most of my family, because they all play football. I listen to all of them, all the skills and stuff. All my coaches that I've ever had, especially Miss Dowdell. She was one of my coaches. She's really good.
All right. How many heroic stories, since you said it's in your genes, have you heard from family members? What's one of those stories that you heard? I ran through all 12.
Yeah,
each one. Yeah, tell me about one of the stories and who told you the story.
My Uncle Dilma. He said I was there running back one time, took the ball. 100 yards up the field.
100 yards.
Straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle. Nobody touched him.
Nobody.
Nobody was there.
Yeah, probably just broke 1 or 2 tackles and it was gone.
That's polka Al Bundy stuff right there. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
So tell me, who do you pattern? Is there a running back that you actually pattern yourself after at all?
Definitely Alvin Kamara.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watch a lot of his highlights.
What is it about his skill set that you like to adapt to your game?
Definitely his balance. His balance is immaculate.
Oh yeah, it very much is. In terms of goals, you said 9-1. Tell me something that you wanted to improve by the time the season's over. What would that be?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, I'm young, so I got a lot to learn. So.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. Is there one thing? Is it your first step? Is it your
definitely?
Cut? I mean, which one is it?
I definitely need to stop that hesitation step and just one cut go.
One cut and go. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, are you a side-to-side runner or are you a north-south runner?
Both.
Okay, but if I ask the coach, you know which one he gonna tell you. He wants you to be a north-south.
You gonna get downhill.
Yeah.
You gonna get that ball.
Tells me every day in
practice.
practice.
You gonna get north. I don't want to hear no south. Get north.
You know, how do you feel about your speed?
I definitely can get faster. I'm gonna run track this year. I did it last year.
And how much did it improve? Did you see an improvement from freshman to sophomore?
Yeah, it definitely. My form got better, and that's kind of gave me better speed to get down the field.
All right, Coach. As we get ready to wind down today, you've got great support. You mentioned Oklahoma City Public Schools has done a great job in supporting you. Talk about the amazing alumni over at Douglas that is really pushing to support this team.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I have a lot of support from the class of 73, 74, 2008, 2011. But I can't leave this radio station without telling about Coach White when I met him. I remember when I first got the job, and this Cadillac pulls up to the practice field.
Oh yeah.
And the window goes down. I'm like, who's that looking at me? And I'm just coaching. 2 weeks later, Cadillac pulls up again. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Then the next week, the Cadillac pulls up. I see a hand come out and do this. Come here. You, come here. And he comes to me and says, son, you keep coaching. I like you. Keep coaching. Don't listen to social media. You keep going. He just drives off. I didn't know who it was. Here comes Dante Stepney, our athletic director at the time. Coach Adams, you know who that was? Oh, who was it? That was the man. And he said, I said, that's the man? Was that Coach White? He said, that's Coach White. Well, and Dante was like, what did he say? And he told me I'm going to be all right. And Dante looked at me like, you're a made man, brother. You made. You done it. You made. And I remember the last time I saw Coach White, it was at Douglas. We had an athletic meeting. He came and showed the video. And I remember getting up to him, and we had a tough first year. And I told him, he said, Coach Adams, we're going to work with you in the community. We're going to work with you at the middle school, just try to phone some kids at Douglas, the ones that live in the east side. And I looked at Coach White, and I said, I promise you I'm going to turn it around. I promise you. I love the Shield. I love it. And I know it's bittersweet. Like I told his brother before the game, it's sad, and I miss him. He was good to me. But he got to pass away as the Trojans were undefeated. And that meant a lot to me. And as I'm tearing up right now, I wish I could have done a little more at that Soul Bowl. But that man was all right to me. And the 3 times I met him, and at first I just thought that Cadillac was there for other reasons, but when I saw that, I was like, okay. And I promised him, last time I said, before whatever happens, I want us back right.
Coach, that is a beautiful story. As we get ready to part for tonight's show, I just want you to know the Cadillac, I didn't get the Cadillac, I got the point. When I used to do PA for Douglas, he would turn around and look at me at the press box, and he would point, and I knew exactly what that meant. That meant get in there and call it, do what you're supposed to do. He was a constant for excellence. Absolutely. And he demanded it from everybody. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of Oklahoma City Schools Metro Tech, Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show. Kai's Concept, Perry Publishing and Broadcasting, the Oklahoma City Dodgers Foundation, Dick's Sporting Goods, Impressions Printing, Big O's Pork and Dreams are our sponsors. We'll be back next week for another fabulous edition. I want to thank all our hosts for being a part of today's show, BELLE, the Bulls, and of course the Trojans. If you are around the community and would like to support these events, let me tell you, support these young people. Do that. Help it grow and be a part of the solution. We'll see you next week. This has been the Oklahoma City Schools Coaches Show on CBS Sports Radio 105.3 HD1. Good night.
Oklahoma City, I'm Miles Perry, and I want you to tune into my show, Super Prep Live.
Super Prep Live takes an in-depth look at the Oklahoma high school student athlete and what makes he or she become great at what they do. Super Prep Live can be heard on OKC's CBS Sports Radio 105.3 and Instagram Live.
Make sure you tune in and learn about the next great student athlete on Super Prep Live with me, Miles Perry.